what's going on in Los Angeles, where it seems like everybody is just about what makes things worse, okay? What is the reality of ICE? What is the reality of the criticisms? What does this situation mean to what's going to happen next? I want to bring in the man that President Trump has designated to do the job. White House border czar Tom Homan. Tom, I know they're running you ragged, and I appreciate you taking the opportunity. Thank you.
Look, I've been listening to your last two segments. You got a pretty good show going, so very interesting. I'm glad I got in here early.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. I appreciate you finally watched the damn show. So let me ask you this: let's deal with the politics quick, so we can get to the policy. Governor Newsom, instead of controlling the streets, is trying to control the narrative here in a way by saying they're going to come arrest me. They're going to come take me. That's what's going to happen. What would that be about? Is that even something that would be considered?
No, this has been blown so far out of proportion, Chris. So I was interviewed by an NBC reporter. And we were talking about the protesters. And I said, look, people have the right to protest. They got their First Amendment rights, and I salute them. But they can't cross that line. They can't impede ICE officers. They can't put their hands on them. They can't throw Molotov cocktails. They can't damage government property. They can't cross that line. Because when you cross that line, it's criminal. And when you cross the line, we won't seek prosecution. Then the reporter asked me, well, how about Karen and the Mayor Bass and Governor Newsom? They possibly can be indicted. I said, look, if they cross that line, they commit a crime, of course they can be. Anybody can be. No one's above the law. There's no threat to arrest Governor Newsom, but the statement was made. Just like anybody else. If he crosses that line of impeding ICE enforcement efforts, if he knowingly harbors and conceals an alien, that's a crime. We would ask AG, the Attorney General, to seek prosecution. It wasn't a threat, but my words were taken out of context, but it is what it is. I stand by what I said. No one's above the law. I've heard that for 4 years. President Trump was above the law. No one's above the law. Either is the governor of California.
What do you make of the criticism beyond the spectacle of you want to remove bad guys, that's fine, but you're going into sensitive places, you're breaking up communities, you're going way beyond getting the bad people and you're scaring the good people?
No, it's just a false narrative. So, like, what started the protests in L.A.? I was there. I went to L.A. Wednesday night to kick off an operation, a surge operation. And the first place we went to, we served 3 criminal search warrants at a business. And they had a couple locations. What was that investigation? It was an investigation concerning money laundering, tax evasion, and customs fraud. We got a company that brought in over $87 million of goods in the United States, underdeclared, and they failed to pay $17 million in tariff taxes. And as a part of a bigger overarching investigation, how some of this money on these companies is being funneled to Mexico and Colombia to fund cartel activity. So we served criminal arrest warrants, and when we went in to arrest them, we arrested 40 illegal aliens that worked for this company. And the same day, we had teams out in the street. We arrested a Vietnamese national that murdered 2 young teenagers at a graduation party. We arrested several child sexual predators. We arrested someone that was convicted of rape. We arrested someone that was domestic violence 3 times over again. We arrested an illegal alien who was convicted of unlawful penetration of a foreign object, which I didn't even dig into that case. But we took a lot of bad people off the street that day. But when the protesters came, they're thinking, okay, this is another enforcement operation. They didn't ask the details of the operation. We tried to put the information out, but it wasn't covered. So in the middle of that search warrant, protesters started coming. Then they blocked the agents from leaving safely with the people we had in our custody and the evidence we had in their custody. And of course, the Mayor Bass told, and we called for assistance because now it's becoming a public safety issue. And Mayor Bass told him to stand down. So look, after 2 days of the violence occurring in L.A., President Trump, I think, made the right move. He called in the National Guard to protect government property, government officers, and public safety. And that's what he did, and I applaud him for it.
What do you think the message is of the protests?
Protest. That's your First Amendment right. Show your signs, yell and scream all you want, and give your opinion about ICE operations. But keep it peaceful. I mean,
I'm with you about that, Tom. But what do you think of their message when it is peaceful? That you guys at ICE are being asked to do too much with too many in ways that go too far?
I don't think we're going too far. I think the men and women at ICE are acting very professionally, and they're out there enforcing laws enacted by Congress. If you don't like what ICE does, I tell these people all the time, if they don't like what ICE does, then protest Congress. Because ICE is simply enforcing laws enacted by Congress. And when they go arrest an illegal alien, they're arresting an illegal alien who has a final order issued by a federal judge. And we're executing his orders. That is their job. So go protest Congress. Go protest the immigration courts if you want. But ICE is funded to enforce immigration law. That's what Congress funds us to do, and that's the oath these men and women take. And I want to remind everybody, the ICE officers, they're not terrorists. They're not racist like I see the signs in this protest. They're mothers and fathers, too. They have children. They don't hang their hearts on the hook at home every time they come to work. They see a lot of terrible things. Immigration enforcement has always been controversial. I've been doing it since 1984. It's always been emotional. I get it. But we got a job to do, and we're going to do it. And we're going to do it every day in Los Angeles and every day across this country.
Is this situation going to change anything with ICE? Any kind of reconsideration, any kind of slowdown until this clears?
No. We got over 100 teams out there today. We have over 100 teams tomorrow. We're going to do this every day across this nation. We got a job to do, and we're going to do it. You can protest, but I'm asking, look, I go to bed every night, and this is the honest truth. I pray for the safety of the men and women of ICE and the other agencies who are helping us. I also pray for the safety of the protesters. Protest, that's your amendment right. Call your congressman, call your senator, raise hell, but do not put hands on an ICE officer. Do not throw Molotov cocktails like they've done. Don't burn vehicles and buildings that you paid for. The taxpayers paid for all this stuff. Don't destroy what the taxpayers paid for. You can protest the right way. And look, there's a method to get your message out. Just do it legally.
You don't like the phrase immigration raids. And I was thinking about what this means and why you don't like it. And I get why you don't like it, because it's not about immigrants, it's about people who are here illegally, and you see a distinction. But what does it mean to you that that distinction has been lost? That people believe that it is just a demonizing of the other, of people who somehow don't belong here the way certain people want to define it?
Well, I don't like the term raid, because when we go out there, it's a targeted enforcement operation. We know who we're looking for, and we have fugitive operations operational sheets at every arrest. You say, here's what I'm going to go arrest, here's where I think I'm going to find him, here's his immigration history, here's his criminal history. We're not going on the streets looking for people different than us. We're targeted enforcement operations. I don't like the word raid. And look, this is a country rich in immigrants. Immigrants built this country. We're looking for people that enter this country illegally, which is a crime. They've had the due process. We got 1.4 million illegal aliens in this country who had due process at great taxpayer expense. They had an order removed. So a judge issued an order. They must leave this country. And unless we do that, then we send a message to the whole world. Keep coming. Keep putting yourselves in harm's way. Keep the sex trafficking going. Keep the drug trafficking going, because you're overwhelming the Border Patrol. There has to be consequences for, violating our laws. But again, I go back to Congress. If they can fix the system, fix the system. But we got to enforce the law. There has to be consequences for violating our laws. And that's what ICE is simply doing.
Yeah, the one thing that I do feel is patently unfair about all of this is I don't think it's fair to blame ICE as an agency. I do think it's fair to blame Congress, because they put you guys in an impossible position. You are trying to enforce your way through a system that is unsustainable. They don't give you the resources. They haven't given you the rule changes. They haven't given you the ability to adjudicate so you can affect due process in any kind of way that's expeditious. And I believe it's because they like the problem better than a solution, and they've laid it at your feet. Tom, I'll keep covering it. You're always welcome here to make the case, and I agree with your prayers. I hope this gets better for everybody involved as soon as possible. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.